I recently got this comment on one of my YouTube videos, and basically they were saying how they noticed one of my YouTube videos and one of my blog posts on the same topic, they had very similar wording, and they were wondering if there's a process for that and how you can do that easily to transform a YouTube video into a blog post. So I'm glad you asked, because I do have a process for this and it has made my life so much easier. I can get blog posts done much quicker than I used to, and so today I'm going to go with you through that whole process. I actually posted a video recently on how to write a blog post super fast, like 3,000 words in 1 hour, and I still use that process, but it actually made me realize that I could turn my YouTube videos into blog posts as well, and it would make sense for those blog posts that have a YouTube video attached as well. So let me go ahead and share with you the process so that you can see how it all works. But the process from the very beginning, I obviously film, edit and upload my YouTube video onto YouTube, and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you so that you can see exactly what I do click by click. Let's go ahead and do this. First thing that I'm going to do is to open up my YouTube video that I want to turn into a blog post. So I'm just going to use this for example, and once you have your YouTube video page opened up, you're going to go into these 3 little dots right here and click on Open Transcript. And YouTube does a pretty good job at transcripting your video. Like, it's usually quite accurate. They might get a few words here and there, you know, kind of mistaken, but for the most part, it's really good. The next step is to click on these 3 dots here and toggle timestamps. And this means they won't show the time here anymore, like this. And this is going to be kind of the base for your blog post, because you already have the content, you already said it all, so now you can just turn it into a blog post. So I'm just going to select it all, I'm going to copy, and then the next step is to open up a Google Docs document. So it's just an empty document. Google Docs is really amazing for a lot of things. I use it a lot in my business. I'm going to right click and go into paste without formatting. So I'm just going to click on that, and now all of my text is on here. There's 6 pages of text. Now we're going to walk through how you can actually clean all of this text up easily, because there's a lot of breaks, like paragraph line breaks, and you obviously don't want those in your blog post. So I'm going to show you how you can clean this up easily, so it won't take you like hours upon hours to do this. Okay, next up, I'm going to select all of this text and I'm going to go into add-ons. And I have this text cleaner add-on. This is something you can add to your Google Docs as well. You go to get add-ons and find the text cleaner and install it into your Google Docs. It's really easy to do, and this will help you to kind of clean up that text easily, because otherwise you would have to go in here and for all of these just kind of do this. So, you know, delete all of those paragraph lines, because they won't make any sense in a blog post. So this add-on just makes it super easy to do that. So I just select it all, go to add-ons, text cleaner, and then I go to remove paragraph breaks. And this will just take a few seconds to do, and then as you can see, it's all now into a big chunk of text, which is already so much easier because you don't have to go manually to delete all of those paragraph breaks. Next thing that I'm going to do to really save time on this is go into Command F or Control F, and this is just the find function in Google Docs. And I'm going to click on these 3 dots, and you have here find and replace. Now this is super useful because there will be words in this text that you want to replace with different ones, because maybe they're wrong, maybe they're not spelled right, or maybe you need them to be uppercase or something like that. So this will make it easier to go through all of the text and replace all of those in one go. So I'll give you a few examples of what I mean here. So I'll type in space I space bar, and then you can see highlighted in the text all of the I's, and obviously you want these to be uppercase. So in replace, I'm going to say space uppercase I and another space, and then I'm going to hit replace, and you can see how it's replaced this one with an uppercase one. I'm going to hit that again, it's replaced this one. So you can just go and replace all of these in one go. If I click on this, now they're all uppercase I's. So that's really easy. And I'm also going to do this for I'm, because obviously you want that to be uppercase. There we go. Just gonna replace all. I've, this is something you usually say quite often in videos. gonna replace this. And then sometimes you might not be able to think of all the words that you need to replace here, obviously from the beginning, but once you go through the text, you will kind of realize a few words that keep repeating, and then you can just use this function really easily to replace them all, so it takes you less time to edit the text. For example, I know I've mentioned YouTube only one time, but sometimes I mention it multiple times, so I want to replace that. Just things like that. You can go through and edit those out. One thing that I also edit out, which is usually kind of embarrassing to be honest, it's the ums. I said 20 ums in this video. And in order to just get rid of these ums, I'm going to just type in nothing in the replace with, and then replace all, and then they'll all be gone. So that's just said an didn't I? I'm gonna have to do that for this video as well. Should probably get better at editing those out in the editing process, to be honest, but you know, getting it done is better than getting it perfect, so that's what we're working here with. Yeah, progress takes time, but that's how I do this to make it really easy on myself. So now that I've done all of those little edits, my next step is to get my script. Now I say script, but it's not actually a full-on script. I'm going to show you what this looks like. So for this video, this is the script that I made, so it's kind of more like the bullet points of what I want to mention in the video. Yes, I'm just gonna copy this text, like the script or outline, I guess, and paste it on here. So now that I have this outline, it's going to make it easier for me to edit the text, because honestly, looking at that big chunk, like this big chunk of text, is a bit overwhelming. So what I do first of all is I'm just going to break up these headings, because these will be the main headings of my blog post in the end. So what I'm going to do is go through the text, this bit, and try to find where my intro is, then where my first point, like my first heading is, the second one. I'm just going to do that quickly and then show you what it looks like. A lot of times I will say in my videos things like, if it's a list type of video, which a lot of them are, I will say number 1 or step 1 or something like that. So I kind of look for those words to find the beginning of my, you know, that point or that heading. So this is the first one, and I'm just going to see where I mentioned number 2. There we go, I found it, number 2. So then for the first paragraph, the first point, I'm just going to copy it here, and that's my number 1. Moving on to number 2, I'm just going to do the same. And now that I've broken it down into each point, like each heading, it's going to be easier to go through and edit, because it's not going to be so overwhelming. Looking at that big chunk of text is honestly kind of daunting. So I just go through all of these, just delete, hi, welcome back to my channel. I'm just going to add a few things to my blog post, because I do want kind of a hook, a different introduction sometimes. I usually add things on top of this text from the YouTube video in my blog post, because I make them a bit longer, I add more info and things like that, but for the most part this is what I use, and I'm just going to go through this and find where my sentence ends, and you know, kind of break it down like that. And then once I've you know, broken it down into sentences, I'm just going to go into each of these headings and make sure they are headings. So for your blog post, they will usually be heading 2, and then heading 1 is kind of the title of the blog post. So I'm just gonna go through and make sure they're all heading 2, and I will also rephrase this heading as well, because this was just kind of my bullet point when I was filming the video. And then once I've done all of that, I'll show you an example of what one of my blog posts that's, you know, already been fully edited looks like. So this is one that I transformed from a YouTube video into a blog post. So this is what it finally looks like, and it's got all the headings on there and everything like that. I've also added heading 3, and I've added links, just kind of edited all of it nicely. And then once it's all done, I can just select it all, copy, and then go into my WordPress. And here in my WordPress, I'm just gonna go and paste it. Yeah, and then this is what it looks like in my WordPress, and then I can just do some final edits if that's necessary. I'm going to add my title here at the top, and that's my blog post done. And that's how I turn a YouTube video into a blog post. It still takes time to go through and edit kind of the rough text of it into, you know, nicely formatted blog post, but it does take a lot less time than writing it all out from scratch. So I do hope you found this helpful. Let me know in the comments below what other things you are maybe struggling with, what can I help you with, and yeah, I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye guys!